everyone, and welcome to the Octopus 2025.2 release party. My name is John Bristow. I'm a member of the team here at Octopus Deploy. Thank you for joining us here today. It's great to see you. Thank you for your time and attention. And we have some wonderful folks joining us on the webinar today, talking about all the latest and greatest features we have available in Octopus 2025.2. But before we begin, there's always going to be some housekeeping notes we have to get through, so let's go ahead and do that. Before we begin, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the new things that we have available through 2025.2. That is not it. My apologies. This is too many screens today. So if you happen to stumble upon this, don't worry, you're in the right place. This is our webinar that we have available through octopus.com/webinars. Here you'll find a series of webinars that will be making available soon in the future. You are in the right place. This is the webinar we are hosting today. If you happen to not catch everything in this webinar and you say to yourself, hey, I'd like to see that little feature that Venk or Kit or Michelle showed me, the folks who are joining us here today, I'd like to see a recording of that. You can go to our YouTube channel, which is here, and check out the recording of it. You can see we are live right now, so this is going to get a bit meta here. If I were to click on this, we'll watch us live doing this. But here you'll find not only the recording, but you'll find many other videos that we publish all the time. So we have our continuous delivery office hours. We have our show called Deploy on Friday. We have videos that we publish all the time. We publish here like maybe twice a week at least. Videos showcasing all the latest and greatest we have from Octopus Deploy. So don't forget to check that out. That's over at our YouTube channel, which is at youtube.com/Octopus Deploy. As the kids like to say, like and subscribe. So there you go. We are here to talk about 2025.2. Yes, it's here, folks. And if you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, we have our What's New page, which you will find at this URL here /What's New. This should be your homepage, if not a bookmark. This lists all the latest features we have available, not only in Octopus Cloud, but in the latest version of Octopus itself. So 2025.2 shipped on June 9th, in case you weren't aware. And we have lots of great features that we're going to be highlighting here. We're talking about Kubernetes manifest comparisons. We're talking about the Terraform Provider. We'll talk about tenant variables. We'll talk about all kinds of stuff here. We have the folks who are in charge of these features on today's webinar talking about these, and you can find these all available up on our What's New page. And if you're at all curious about what also is happening at octopus.com, you can check out our roadmap, which is at roadmap.octopus.com. Again, make this a bookmark, if not your homepage, at roadmap.octopus.com. There you'll find a series of features that we have released. So you can see 2025, it's words, .2, all the features we have. And if you're curious about every feature, you can drill into each one and get a detailed rundown of what the feature is, how it works, etc. But, and this is important, you can also take a look at what ones we have planned as well as ones we have under consideration. And if you have an idea, if you happen to be stumbling upon this and you have an idea, hey, it'd be great if Octopus did this or that, you can submit your own ideas. So you can submit your own ideas. Let us know. The team does watch this all the time, and they are looking for your suggestions. So make sure to check that out over at roadmap.octopus.com. Excellent stuff. I believe we've lost Venk. We'll go ahead and re-add him to the stage. There he is. Always available. So anyways, I have some great folks on the webinar today. We have Kit, Venk, and Michelle. I'll let them each introduce themselves, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So Kit, let's start with you.
Cool. Thanks, John. So I'm Kit. Nice to meet you. Hi, everyone. I am a product manager, and I'm from a team working on Kubernetes.
Awesome. And Michelle?
Hi, I'm Michelle, another PM on the team. My team works on kind of small incremental changes. So rather than having one big feature to talk about, I'll have a couple of smaller ones.
Awesome. And then we have Venk here joining us. I don't know if your internet's okay. He's up and down. That's all right. We'll just we'll roll ahead, as they say, without him. Venk looks after our Terraform Provider, amongst other things as well, and we'll highlight some of those features there. So that's the team. We've got some of the PMs available here to talk about these things today. There he is, Venk. Your internet okay? So there you go. This is Venk. Trying to give you a little brief introduction there. Venk, what do you look after at Octopus?
I work on our blueprints and guardrails mission.
Oh, that's okay. He's gone down. That's all right. He's on a mission now to fix his internet, so that's okay. We will forge on without him. So that being said, just getting back to the pages that we have available up here. This will set the stage. We're going to come back to this page all the time throughout today's webinar. We're going to feature what's new, etc., and highlight the latest and greatest. So with that being said, because Venk's having some internet problems, that's okay. We'll just forge on without him. and we'll see if you can connect at a later date. But Kit, are you ready to talk about some awesome stuff we have around Kubernetes?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
So for the last few quarters, we've been working in our team on truly the most significant upgrade to the Kubernetes experience in Octopus. I am actually very excited to show it now. And the thing is, it's not just one feature, it's actually the whole experience. Before that, like if you look at Octopus last year, Octopus was already a great tool to automate your deployments to Kubernetes. But now, with what I'm going to show you, we are not just a deployment tool. You can now use Octopus to deploy and verify and troubleshoot your applications. And it's all from one tool that you're all familiar with. So with this update, Octopus provides you the live insights into your application state. It enables you to verify your deployments and application during and actually long after deployment happens. And that's amazing. So in this session, first, I'll show you the features that are available in the current release. That's manifest inspection and manifest diffs. That's all focused on verifying a deployment and help you troubleshoot deployment as it happened. And then after that, I'll show you a sneak peek into new capabilities that build upon manifest inspection and now available only in Octopus Cloud, but soon this year coming to self-hosted customers. So for the demo today, I'm going to use what's now on the screen. This is our samples instance. Sample instance is available for everyone. You can click the link right now and just explore it yourself. So everything is working, everything is clickable. Just take a look and get your own idea of how it all happening. All right, so let's dive right into it. First, let's look at manifest inspection and manifest diffs. So if you want to see this new feature, you need to navigate, you need to choose Octopus project that you have Kubernetes deployments. So it's all of those here. Let's choose, I don't know, customize, whatever. You just need to click on a deployment and you'll see a screen which you're all familiar with. And you'll find a Kubernetes tab here. You know, like before, you had this static snapshot of all the objects deployed during when deployment ran and their status. Now you also see this tab, which is called Applied Manifest. And this tab shows you all the objects which you deployed, their health at the moment of deployment, and also the manifest, the plain YAML manifest, what was actually deployed, and all information you need. So you can search here, you can apply filters. It's actually really good if you want to verify your deployment. For example, you want to verify that Customizer Helm actually did the job as you expected, or you want to understand how Octopus replaced variables, or you want to do it all at once. This is the way to do this. And even more, you can actually show this nice little show diff button, and you can compare the manifest from this deployment versus previous version. You'll see all the diffs per manifest. You see the added or removed objects. So this is actually quite powerful. And yeah, it's available for everyone who have access to this project. I think this feature is particularly helpful for SREs and DevOps who actually run and manage all these manifests and who want to debug Octopus deployment process, but probably useful for developers and basically runners as well. Okay, so again, this is now available. This is 25.2 release. You can download it, you can install it, you can have it in Octopus Cloud. So it's there. Just take a look and let us know what you think. By the way, as John mentioned before, this feature and the diffs are all on our roadmap. You can find it in the released tab. So if you want to share your thoughts and maybe you want to chat with us, just open the roadmap, click on the feature, leave the comment, and we'll be back. I read all of them, and I really appreciate that people give me like explicit and detailed feedback. That's immediately, it's crazy helpful, and we actually use it all the time with our work. Okay, now let's move to something that is yet to come to on-prem customers. So, as I said, manifest inspection object snapshot, they capture the detailed view of what happened during deployment time, right? And it's useful in many scenarios. But often, it's just not enough. So sometimes, and actually like almost every time, we also need to know if deployed application is actually running as expected in a cluster, or if needed, we also want to troubleshoot the app. We need to spot some issues. We need to understand why these issues appeared and how we can fix them. So for this, we developed what we call Kubernetes Live Object Status. If you see this little toggle here, this is it. This is Live Object Status. It's as easy as just clicking the toggle to enable it. And now you see that our dashboard transformed. So from being a dashboard showing us the static state of deployments and when they happen, now we see actually live state for all the apps. These are all live icons. So we know that this particular project in this test environment is now healthy. We can dive in. And for this environment, we see all the objects that are actually deployed. We see all the children objects which were produced by this service or by this deployment. We see that we have replica set, we have pod. We can see that they're all in sync. So the manifest we intended to deploy is exactly the manifest running in the cluster. If someone would change the manifest, we actually see it here as well, as it would be out of sync. We see the health of it. So we see that the pod is healthy. Okay, what else can I do here? I can dive in the pod. I can have a summary of it, and I can see the manifest. This is actually a live manifest. This is what's running in the Kubernetes cluster right now. And I can see logs and I can see events. So if I want to have a quick debug experience, it's all here. I can do it right from Octopus. And if it was out of sync, I could click the Show Diff button, and Octopus will show me how and where my manifest evolved from what I intend to deploy to what's running now in the cluster, which obviously also helps with debugging. So with this live object status, you actually don't need to switch anymore from Octopus to another tool when you did your deployment. You don't need to be an expert in Kubernetes to understand what's running or why it's not running. This feature was all about democratizing access to live information from the cluster. And this is probably helpful for any engineer, regardless of if you have access to the production Kubernetes or not, because you don't need the access, you need just Octopus. As I said, this feature is now available in the cloud. It's still early access, but our team is working really hard to make it GA and make it available for on-prem customers and cloud customers later this year. Yeah, and
that's awesome. Yep. That's awesome, Kit. Thanks for showing.
Give us feedback. Thanks, John.
Go ahead. Sorry, I keep stepping over. We're stepping on each other's toes. Go ahead.
No, that's it. I just this is also on the roadmap. This is also in the delivered tab. Just please click on it. Give us feedback. If you want to chat, let me know in the comment. I'll be right back. That's me. Thanks, team. Thanks, John.
Awesome, no problem. So yeah, as Kit was saying, if you want to check out the roadmap, roadmap.octopus.com, the one place to go, obviously, for all this stuff. You can read more about both live object status and the other features we've released around this, namely the ability to do diffs for manifests. So you can do a diff on your manifest and they're in line within Octopus, which is fantastic. So thanks for that, Kit. Awesome stuff. And if you happen to be dealing with Kubernetes deployments, etc., definitely make sure to check out those features now available in Octopus 2025.2, which is fantastic. I want to take a brief moment here and just do wrong screen. That's a little bit close. A slight divergence, which is to mention something that we have available. This is something that maybe some folks aren't aware of, but we actually have a whole set of stickers. I know that you go to conferences once in a while. You want to show off your laptop wares, etc. They're kind of like the decals you put on your car, etc. Well, we have a set of stickers you can check out over at shop.octopus.com. If you go there, you'll see a bunch of stickers that are available. And one of the things we'd like to do is actually help promote this. So that being said, if you take the time to send me an email over at my email address here at john.bristow@octopus.com, we will send you out a pack of stickers. So send me an email, let me know what you'd like from a sticker collection perspective, and we'll send those out to you. And to help promote this, we've got a little bit of a video here we'd like to show now.
Lacking pizzazz? Is your notebook feeling no nonsense and no fun? Well, hold the phone, dog, because the Octopus Deploy sticker collection is here to brighten your builds and spice up your setup. These aren't your average peel and play studs. No, sir. We're talking premium, high-gloss, tentacle-powered decals with enough charm to make even your CI pipeline blush. Stick 'em loud and proud on your laptop, your water bottle, your cat's carrier. Okay, maybe not the cat, but anywhere else that needs a little deployment dazzle. Go wild and hey, want more? Just snap a photo of your new sticker setup and share it on the old social media with hashtag Octopus Deploy. So scoot on over to shop.octopus.com and start sticking like a pro. Octopus Deploy stickers for developers who ship with style.
So there you go. If you happen to send me an email, I will make sure to get that out to you post haste. So there you go. A little bit of a promo there for our stickers. Awesome stuff. So we actually have Venk hopefully now joining us, stable. So hopefully the internet stays live. But this is part of the reason why we prep for these things. We actually have a recording of the overview for what Venk is going to show today. So we're going to show that here just in case his internet happens to go down. So let's go ahead and play that now.
Hey everyone. This is my short update on the Terraform Provider releasing to V 1.0. I'm Venkatesh, I'm a product manager here at Octopus Deploy, and I'm super excited to announce all the changes which we made as we've gotten to our awesome release of the Terraform Provider. So what is Terraform? Terraform is an infrastructure as code tool developed by HashiCorp that lets you define your resources as code. It allows you to automate the entire lifecycle of your infrastructure. It supports multiple cloud providers and enables consistent, repeatable, and version-controlled deployment. So why should you use Terraform with Octopus Deploy? We think there's a few good reasons for when you should be using Terraform with Octopus Deploy. It's when you need to maintain Octopus configuration alongside other infrastructure config. You need to maintain control over Octopus estate. You want to manage your Octopus as code only. You don't want to touch the UI. You want to make sure that a single team is in control of the Octopus configuration and be able to easily revert changes made by teams that aren't authorized to do so. You want to define your Octopus config alongside other infrastructure resources. And if you want to reuse your Octopus setup across Octopus instances. So for example, if you had a development Octopus instance and a staging Octopus instance, and you wanted to maintain them both with one file, Terraform is really going to shine here. So we've spent a long time working on a bunch of updates. I've just got a few highlights here to call out that most of our users might be interested in. We've added more resource coverage in the Terraform provider for things like step templates and OpenID accounts, amongst other things. We've improved the documentation for the Terraform provider. Previously, not all of our resources had example code. Now they do. We've also published a few supported scenarios with example code that cover the best case usage of the Terraform provider and Octopus Deploy. We're also excited to announce the new deployment process resource, which had a whole host of long-standing state drift issues that are now fixed, and we think you're really going to enjoy using and maintaining your deployment process with the new one that we've created. And of course, we've migrated to the official Octopus Deploy repo from the old Octopus Deploy Labs repository, marking it as an official place and official integration that we're going to support for the long term. So if you wanted more in-depth information, we actually held a webinar on this a couple weeks ago that dives into depth on all the changes we made, as well as a demo of the new step template and deployment process resource. Of course, if you want to consume this as a text update, we also have a blog post up on our website. And if you wanted to hop straight in and test out all the new code and understand how well this works, you can check the registry page on the Terraform website under Octopus Deploy. Thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing from all of you and seeing you use the new and improved Terraform provider.
All right, fantastic stuff. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not.
Is your laptop?
Oops, not that one, sorry. I'll have to... All right, sorry about that. We seem to have some technical difficulties, but that's okay. We'll keep going here. I hope you can all hear me here. Please nod ahead if you can. All right, perfect. Sorry about that. We were trying to get some things rolling here, but just to share with you some of the information that Venk was sharing with you there in terms of the Terraform Provider. If you check out the Terraform Provider up on the Terraform registry, you'll be able to take a look at it there. You can download and install this now, so you can check it out there. This is the official one. Now, you may notice here that it says that there's a verified provider with the same name. That is true. So this is our old Terraform Provider, and if you take a look at this one, this is the one where we were doing a lot of our experimentation. Now that it's available as a V1, you'll be able to download it from that V1 repository. So for now, you'll have to just utilize that old location until such time we actually transfer over to there. But you'll be able to find that up on the registry there, which is the way in which you get Terraform providers from HashiCorp/IBM, I guess now. So there you go. So that's available up on the Terraform registry. Fantastic. Awesome. And so now what I'd like to do is let's see if we can add Venk back to the stage. Venk, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the other work that we're doing around 2025.2? Namely around process templates, for example? Oh, there goes Venk again. Sorry. Looks like he's dropping. Unfortunately, we won't be able to cover off that feature. That's okay. We'll soldier on ahead, as we say. Michelle, oh, there's Venk. Let's see if we can add him again. Go ahead, Venk.
Process templates is our first bet on our blueprints and guardrails mission, which is aimed at making platform engineering a lot easier in Octopus. We're helping our platform engineering and our bigger customers standardize on Octopus and create repeatable patterns that they can use across their instance. So process templates is the thing that I'm going to demo, or the video that you're going to see soon, but it's a combination of a couple of months' work that's aimed at making the ability to set up standardized deployment processes and sharing them out to all your teams much easier. So I'm excited for everyone to see a sneak peek of this before it comes out towards the end of the year. And yeah, it's about a good summary, I guess, John.
All right, there we go. Venk, you survived. You made it enough time just to say the intro there. So yeah, process templates feature we haven't really shown off before, so let's take a look at it now.
Hi, this video is going to provide a high-level overview of the new process templates functionality that we're building for Octopus Deploy. Process templates allow you to create multi-step templates that can be inserted into deployment processes or runbook processes. One of the advantages of process templates is they allow you to build complex functionality and share that across all of the different applications. For example, in this particular process template, I have a step that is generating a SQL Delta report and then checking it for auto approval. If any sort of dangerous commands are found, such as drop database or delete table, that will then send a notification off to the DBAs that will then require them to also approve that Delta script, because maybe the delete table is to delete a temporary table, for example. And then assuming the DBAs approve the script, that will allow them to go ahead and deploy the database Delta script. And all of that is built into the template itself, so individual application teams don't need to know how to build this process. All they need to know is they just need to come in to the deployment process and add the appropriate process template and then provide the appropriate parameters. Now, what this looks like in an actual deployment is we can click on here. We will go ahead and deploy this change. And then if you are familiar with Octopus Deploy, what you'll see is that everything looks and acts the exact same as it always has, but now we have some additional steps inside of here. We have this prefix, verify build artifacts. That's part of a process template. Same thing here, deploy database. That's part of the process template. But again, the advantage here is that we can create this complex functionality and attach it to these deployment and runbook processes that are reusable across any application type. Now, in regards to the deploy database process template, as you can see, we had that step that checked for auto approval, and it said that all of the scripts looked good. And as a result, the notify DBAs and approve Delta script steps were skipped, and we went ahead and we deployed those database changes. And all of that is built into the process template And so an application team doesn't need to know how any of that works. But wait, there's more, because we provide a couple of other capabilities. As you can see, any of the steps that are not highlighted in this light gray, these are steps that we can inject into our deployment process that's specific for my particular application. For example, I might want to store my secrets inside of Azure Key Vault, whereas other teams and other business units, maybe they prefer HashiCorp Vault. So I have that type of flexibility. In addition to that, my particular application, maybe I made the decision that I want to use manifest files as opposed to using Helm charts or Helm templates. I have that flexibility still. So I have the constraints on how I deploy my databases, but I can still have some flexibility in my deployment process that are unique for my particular application. Updating templates is very easy. So for example, perhaps you notice something that is as innocuous as a description, where it says that dangerous commands that require auto approval should really state for dangerous commands that require approval. We can come over to the new Platform Hub, and this is where we define all of our templates. And we can find the appropriate template. We click into here, and then we can click into here and change that make this very small change. Go ahead and click on delete, and then we can commit this. Now everything is saved into version control, so we can insert a commit message. And we can also make the decision if we want to go ahead and commit only, or if we want to commit and publish a change to this. So maybe we just want to make a small patch fix. We can go ahead and click on done. And then when we come back to the deployment process, we can see that the text has been automatically updated. So pushing out any sort of updates is very easy and requires a minimal amount of friction. But we can also restrict particular versions. So perhaps we want to accept all changes, accept minor changes, or only accept patches. We have that type of flexibility built into our process templates. So updating and controlling when a team gets an update is controlled within the consumer itself. So this provides a high-level overview of the new process templates functionality that we're adding to Octopus Deploy. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.
Awesome stuff. That's really exciting to see there, Venk. I think that a lot of folks are going to want to use that going forward, which is fantastic. If you're at all curious to find out more about this, you can read a little bit more about this available up on our roadmap, which of course is at roadmap.octopus.com. There you'll see Venk's description for this for process templates, which is fantastic. Venk, a lot of excitement around this, eh?
Yeah, heaps of people are excited. It seems like it's a huge problem for a lot of our customers who are trying to tell that standardization and compliance story. If there was anything in that demo that piqued your interest, or you wanted to leave feedback on how we've approached some of the functionality, please feel free to also leave that on the roadmap card there, and we can chat to you and figure out our way forward.
And that's fantastic. And don't forget, folks, this is live. So if you have a question, feel free to send us a question in the chat. We'll answer them as they come in. And I'm sure a lot of you may have questions around process templates, and Venk is here to help answer them. Oh, thanks a lot, Venk. That's fantastic stuff. I'm really excited about that. I think a lot of customers are going to want to use that going forward. That being said, lastly but not leastly, Michelle, we have not forgotten about you. Trust you have some awesome stuff that you'd like to share with us as well. So, Michelle, tell us a little bit about the things that you're working on or have shipped in 2025.2.
Thanks, John. Really enjoying the glam of live TV throughout this. So, as I mentioned at the start, the team that I work on does smaller changes. We're more of the reactive capacity at Fire in Motion. So when ideas come through that don't necessarily align with big missions like Kubernetes for Kit's team or process templates and the bigger blueprints and guardrails project for Venk's team, they quite often come to us because we have that reactive capability. So if when you're when I'm showing you what we've built, if there's something that you think, oh, we'd potentially use this, but there's a way to make that more useful for us, let us know, because we do have that reactive capability. So we're able to jump in and make changes pretty quickly if it doesn't quite suit customers' needs. So on that note, I will jump straight in to one of our new features. So we've expanded on our deployment freezes capability a little bit and made this a little bit more logical in the split between what enterprises need and what the majority of other businesses need. So the new part of deployment freezes is focused around giving project administrators the ability to freeze their project without having to go to their system administrator. If they want to override it, they can do that because they have the context of knowing what their project needs, whereas I'll show you the global freezes a little bit later, and that's more angled at freezes that need to span project or spaces, and you don't want as many people to have the ability to override that. So you'll see here within our project page, we've now got the ability to add freezes. So I can come in, add a new deployment freeze. You'll notice that this is a lot more succinct than the global freeze because you're adding it within the project. We don't need to ask you which project you're wanting to freeze. We have all that context right there. So you can go in, add when you'd like to do the freeze. You'll see that you also have access to our new recurring deployment freeze feature. So you're able to choose whether you want that daily, on weekdays, monthly, or you can create a custom recurrence that suits your business needs. And you select the environments, and that's all you need to do. That will be your project freeze set up and ready to go. As I said, this is something that project administrators can set up, whereas previously you needed to have the system admin permissions to do this, or the specific deployment freeze permissions. So this means that, say for example, if your QAs are testing a change and you want them to be able to freeze the test environment while they're making that change so that no one deploys a change there, it messes up their process, you can do that. If you've got a demo coming up with important stakeholders, you can do the same for your staging, and you're in control of that as the project owner rather than having to go to the management team and say, hey, I need this one freeze for a really specific reason. So we're anticipating that that will give customers a lot more global control over when they decide to use freezes. So while I'm on the topic of freezes, I'll move across to the global freezes. So it's worth noting that even though global deployment freezes is an enterprise feature, anything created within my project space will still show up here. So that's quite handy if you're across multiple spaces or multiple projects and you want to see all of the freezes coming up, you can still see that in this space. You'll just only be able to add a new deployment freeze if you're an enterprise customer. So for those enterprise customers, you can see here I've already got a recurring freeze scheduled. So this is, say for example, if you've got a customer that doesn't want deployments going to their prod instance during business hours, which I feel like is a pretty reasonable request, you can come in here, set up a freeze, put in the times that relate to your customer and have it so that it's on all work days. So you can set that for production environments for multiple projects. If you are using tenants, you can also set that. So say, for example, if I had this project and it had multiple tenants, I would be able to go in and just select the tenants that I wanted to freeze. I wouldn't have to freeze the whole project. The other good thing about global freezes is you can create them so that they span projects or spaces. So if you've got a big Christmas shutdown coming up, or if Black Friday specials are coming up and you're expecting a lot of traffic to your site, you can go in and freeze across all the relevant projects and tenants there. So that's kind of our deployment freeze side of things, but we have also made another couple of changes that are probably more exciting to the admin side of things. So we've made a couple of changes to our runbooks for enterprise customers. So I'll jump back into projects. If I go into my runbooks, so we've added the ability to add, your runbooks can now be change controlled for customers using our ITSM integrations. So for instances where you may want to create infrastructure but have a little bit more control from your administrators over that, you can now come in and within your ITSM providers, within the project settings, you'll see that now you can enable runbooks for your ITSM providers. So rather than having to go into every single runbook and enable it for that runbook, you set it at this high level just to save a little bit of admin. And then if you go into your runbook and run it on an environment that is change controlled, you'll see, hopefully, so that a change request has been required. So then that will go to ServiceNow. So you'll see this will come through as a standard change here because that's how I've got it set up, and my ServiceNow administrator can then go and approve the change, and my infrastructure can be spun up. The other change that we've made for enterprise customers, I'll use the same one as an example. Say if I want to spin more infrastructure up for my production environment, but this is really important. I know there's a big deployment in the pipeline, but I need this out now. I can make this a priority. So this will jump this runbook straight to the top of the task queue, and your infrastructure will be spun up as soon as there's a slot available in your task queue. It won't boot anything off that's running, but as soon as the next thing is finished running, it will get that next slot. So it means that for those important things like creating infrastructure, you've got the ability to make those change controlled and have a little bit more control over it and make it run with priority. The one thing I'll call out here is we've made this available on an ad hoc basis. So when I run this, I can come in and select priority. If you have a use case where you'd like a runbook to run every time with priority, please reach out to us. As I said, we're happy to change things if customers need them. So just let us know. While I'm here, I'm not going to demo it because it's not the most glamorous thing to set up, but I think it's just worth calling out. With your external feeds, we've now added OIDC for a couple of our external feeds. So for ACR, ECR, and GCR, you can now authorize these using OIDC. So this is particularly handy for ECR because that has quite a tight restriction on how often you have to rotate your credentials. If you use an access key, but with OpenID Connect, that doesn't need to be rotated because the security behind OpenID Connect is obviously a lot tighter. So if you want to improve your security positioning, if you want to save yourself having to go in and rotate those credentials, I'd definitely have a look at this new feature, particularly for those of you using ECR, because it'll make your lives a lot easier. So those are the main things that we've been working on in my team. As I mentioned, we're a reactive team. All of these were built because we had multiple customers asking for these features, either via their technical account managers, CSMs, or through our roadmap. As the reactive capability here at Octopus, my team was able to jump in and build these pretty quickly once we started seeing like a bit of a snowball effect of more and more customers wanting this. So like Kit said, we do read everything that comes through the product roadmap, so please do submit in there. As John said, use it as your homepage.
That's right.
But yeah, submit everything. They won't go off and die in the boulevard of broken dreams. We do read everything, and as soon as we see multiple customers asking for the same things, we do start to take action on that. So yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you, Michelle. That's awesome. And as Michelle was indicating, this is our roadmap page. You'll find a lot of the features that Michelle just talked about up on that roadmap page, which is fantastic. Again, that's at roadmap.octopus.com. Make sure to check that out and submit your ideas if you have any. And that, as they say, is everything that we have shipped in 2025.2 is a big release. We had a lot of stuff available. We summarized everything in our What's New page as well. So if you're all curious, you can check it out over at /What's New. You'll find all our features there, including the new ones that we ship to Octopus Cloud. We tend to ship to Cloud a little bit sooner than others. We use it as a bit of a test bed. But you can see all the features listed under the 2025.2 banner. And there you'll find all the features that we've highlighted, including their linked blog posts, etc. And as I said before, if you happen to miss anything, this is recorded, available up on our YouTube channel. You'll find a series of videos, including videos featuring folks like Venk talking about the new Terraform Provider. So if you want to get in-depth into what was mentioned on that webinar, you can check it out there. That's available up on our YouTube channel, which is at /OctopusDeploy. Well, as I would like to point out, we had some technical difficulties, but what webinar doesn't, right? So anyways, I'd like to thank my co-hosts today, Kit, Benk, and Michelle for joining us here today. I'd like to thank you for your time and attention. Don't forget to check out the latest and greatest resources here that we have available. And I'll just quickly check the comments to see no questions have come in. That's fine. Either it was crystal clear or everyone's aware of these new features, which is fantastic either way. But as always, let us know if you have any questions at any time. You can let us know through the roadmap. Also, don't forget, we have our stickers available. Feel free to send me a little email there. I'll make sure to send those out. Those are available up at shop.octopus.com. Have a look. If you're looking to put some decals up on your laptop or maybe a water bottle or something else, let us know. Happy to send those out to you. So great stuff. Anyways, on behalf of the team and myself, I'd like to thank you for your time and attention. This is the end of our stream here. And so we'll conclude things by saying, as always, happy deployments, everyone. Take care.